which is a pretty easy language to learn. It's more English than any other languages that I've learned, like Java or C++. Um, so the first thing you're going to do is go to the link in the description, and it'll pop up like this, and you're going to download the Pygame and Python file. It's pretty easy. You just click on them, click download. Should work. When that's done, it'll be in your downloads folder, which I already downloaded them earlier. And you're going to want to install Python first. If you install Pygame first, it can cause issues. You're going to install for all users. Just basically push the next button each time. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite it. It should look like this. There shouldn't be any X's except on this last part. If there is, you could send me a message or something, and I'll see what I can do to fix that. And then it'll install, and normally doesn't take too long. My computer takes like maybe a minute. And then next you're going to install Pygame, which is like a side program that we'll be using a lot to make graphics and stuff for games or whatever else you decide to make, whether it be calculators for math or games like Minecraft. And then the other thing that's in the Dropbox thing that you might want is Notepad++. It's basically a file editor. It's just what I use. I like it the most. I'll teach you how to set it up for Python so it makes it so you can run programs pretty easily. Now that Python's been installed, we're going to install Pygame, which is that one. Once again, you just push the buttons. The X should be on the bottom piece, not the top. It should say Python 3.3 from registry. If it doesn't say that, there will be issues later on. And then once this is done, you should be able to go to the Start button and type idle, and this program will pop up there. I'm going to go ahead and copy it to my desktop. So here it is. Now when you click that, you're going to open up what is called Python. This is idle, the default engine, so you can tell it to do stuff. Type in commands here, and then it'll do it. That obviously isn't a command, so it'll give me an error message. For instance, if you wanted to tell it to say something, you would pass it the command print, and then inside the brackets, you would give it a string, like hi. When you press enter, it'll say hi. Very simple. I mean, it's pretty much English for the most part, print, and then the string you want. You can print numbers as well. And notice it's not highlighted green, which means it's not a string. So that's a number. We could also print something like a string with the number 6. It's pretty simple there. Oh, and then while you have idle open, go ahead and type import Pygame. And if no error messages pop up, then that means you installed Pygame and Python correctly, and everything should work as planned from here. Now, what I normally use is Notepad++ for my editing. I don't really like idle that much, so to set this up correctly, you're going to click on Run once you have Notepad, and you click Run, and then in here, you're going to type this line of code there, which is Python -I, and don't forget the quotes, $sign. Full current path has to be all caps. If it's not in all caps, it will not work. This basically will tell Notepad to run this through Python. The -I is simply a command that holds the window open upon error messages, so it makes it so you can troubleshoot your programs. And then this is the variable inside of Notepad, which tells it what tab it's on. So you're going to click Save, and then you can make your own custom buttons here. I always use Control-R because it's just more natural. And then you name it whatever you want. I already have it saved, so I'm just going to not save it. But when you click OK, that'll close this window, and then you can click Cancel, and it will be saved as a command for Control-R or whatever you chose to use. So the first thing that I always do is I make a folder on my desktop. So for instance, I have a folder called Coding, and I have a folder that I dedicate to all of my YouTube stuff. So for this video, I'll be using Python Lesson 1, getting started, and all the files that I have for this lesson are going to be stored in. And then on top of that, all of my Python stuff is stored inside this folder. So everything I have is nice and organized, and I can always find it. So to start up, you can go to Notepad, or if you're using idle, that works as well. And what you're going to do is you're going to, if you're using idle, you're going to go to File, New Window, and you now have a place where you can write your file. It's basically the same as Notepad, it's just not as fancy, and it's kind of boring, and it's not very helpful. So you can go ahead and type the first line of code that you've learned, which is print, and you can make it say whatever you want. Anything you type in there should work as long as it's inside the strings. Now you may notice if you use quotes inside of your quotes, so like say hi, now you have an error because Python doesn't know how to handle the quotes inside of quotes. Now to get around this, there are multiple ways you can do it, but the easiest is to use single quotes on the outside and regular quotes on the inside. Later on, I'll teach you better ways of manipulating the string so it'll print exactly what you want if you want to use single and double quotes inside of it. But for now, that's pretty much all you need to know. Now, to save this, you just save it like you would a normal text document, and you're going to navigate your system to the folder that you save everything. And then you're going to name it, and you're going to click Save. That creates this folder here inside that special folder. If you're using Notepad, it's pretty easy. You just type in the already put up tab for you. You'll notice it's not syntaxed, like there's no special coloring. Print is not highlighted anyway. The string isn't highlighted. So it's kind of bland, but you'll notice if you save it as Save As, you'll navigate to that same folder. And you're going to name this as well. And here you're going to have to go to all types, which is all the way at the top. And then at the end of whatever you name it, you just put .py. That tells the computer that it's a Python file. Now when you save it, Notepad will recognize that it's a Python file, and it will start highlighting and syntaxing for you. So this is just what I like using better. Now, with the program that we made earlier, when you press Control R, that will run it, and you can see that it says hi. Or if you're using idle, you can press F5, and that will run it, and it will say the same thing, what we typed in there. However, as I've already explained, I don't use idle. Feel free to use it. There won't be any difference in using it. The error messages are sometimes even easier to trace back. For instance, if I open the file we just made and I make on line 2, I misspell print as font. And then I have it say hi. When I run this file, it will tell me there's an error, and when I go back here, of course it doesn't work this time. It will oftentimes highlight the line that the error is on. It will also tell you that line 2 prompt is not defined. So that helps me know that I have a spelling, and I can change that. Now, as I already said, I'm going to use Notepad++.